She was 31 years old. It was her birthday. She had just said yes to the man she loved in one of the most beautiful places on earth. And 7 days later, she was dead. No warning, no goodbye, no note that anyone had confirmed. Just a phone call that shattered her family's world, and a story that her closest friends say does not add up at all. We are talking about Ashlee Jenae, a Miami-based lifestyle influencer, a woman who built her entire brand around living beautifully, traveling freely and choosing joy. And the last place she was ever seen alive was a luxury safari resort in Tanzania, where rooms go for nearly $1,000 a night. She had her whole future in front of her, and then, according to one account, she chose to end herself. But the people who knew her best, they are not buying it, not for 1 second. This is one of those cases at the moment you hear about it, something just sits wrong in your gut, and we're going to walk through every detail together, because this woman deserves for her story to be told with care, with respect, and with the questions it demands. Before we go any further, if you're new here, welcome to Mystora Crimes. We tell the stories that matter, the ones about real people, real pain, and real questions that still need answers. If a story like Ashlee's moves you, if it makes you want to fight for truth for someone who can no longer fight for themselves, hit that like button right now. Subscribe, click the bell, because every view, every subscriber tells us there are people out here who still care. And right now, Ashlee's family needs people to care.
All right, hear me out. And maybe this is just me, but I just thought about it because I was driving on my way home. I'd really be ready to cut a nigga off over the smallest shit. Like, the littlest thing, I'd just be turned off. Like, ugh. It was mad people in the regular lane.
Let's get into it. Ashlee Jenae Robinson was not just another pretty face on Instagram. She was a woman with a philosophy. She called herself a soft life divester, a phrase that carries weight if you understand the movement behind it. The idea is simple but radical for many women who have been conditioned to accept hardship as their default. You choose softness. You choose ease. You choose yourself. For Ashlee, this was not just a caption strategy. It was her entire identity online. She had built an audience over 70,000 followers on Instagram by documenting a life that felt aspirational. Luxury travel, elegant fashion, beautiful food, romantic moments. She was a tastemaker in Miami's social scene. Someone people looked to for proof that joy was possible and that a woman could design her own life on her own terms. People who knew her offline paint the same picture. She was vibrant. She was expressive. She communicated. When something was wrong, she said so. When something was right, she celebrated it loudly. This is important. Hold on to that, because the psychological profile of a person who is secretly suicidal does not typically look like that. People who are quietly planning to end their lives tend to withdraw. They go quiet. They start giving things away. They stop showing up. Ashlee was doing the opposite. She was showing up fully, loudly, joyfully, right up until the moment she went silent on social media on April 5th, 2026. And that silence itself became the alarm bell. She had been with Joe McCann for some time before this trip. McCann is no ordinary person. He is a founder and CEO of Asymmetric Financial, a crypto investment firm backed by some serious names in the venture capital world, including Mark Andreessen and Chris Dixon. On paper, this man looks like a success story. Wealthy, connected, running in elite circles. He and Ashlee were a striking couple. She was a lifestyle influencer with warmth and flair. He was a finance heavyweight with money and influence. Together, they traveled well and photographed beautifully, but there were cracks beneath that surface, and we will get to those. The trip to Tanzania was supposed to be everything. Ashlee was turning 31, a milestone she was openly excited about, and McCann had arranged a dream birthday experience at the Serval Wildlife Resort, a luxury property so exclusive that a single night cost close to $1,000. There were giraffes. There were safaris. There were sunsets that looked like they were painted just for her. And then, on April 5th, 2026, her actual birthday, Joe McCann got down on one knee and proposed. Ashlee said yes. She posted the engagement on Instagram that same day. Her followers went wild. The comments were flooded with love and celebration. She looked radiant in the photos. Not performed radiant, the kind that takes effort to sustain for a camera. She looked genuinely, deeply happy. The kind of happy that makes you exhale when you see it, because it feels real. That was her last post. For 7 days, she went quiet. And on April 12th, news broke that she was dead. According to the account that has been attributed to McCann, Ashlee died by suicide, specifically by hanging. He reportedly told Tanzanian authorities that he discovered her in the hotel room. He reportedly told her close friend and PR professional Savannah Britt the same thing. And it was Savannah Britt who took that information and brought it to the internet. Not to spread rumor, but to sound an alarm. "We need justice for my friend Ashlee Jenae," Britt wrote on X. Her fiancé, Joe McCann, claimed she hung herself. Anyone who knows Ash knows she would never commit suicide. We need answers now. That post got nearly 30,000 likes within hours because people felt it. Something about the story did not sit right. Let's talk about what does not add up. And I want to be really clear here that we are operating in the territory of questions, not conclusions. No charges have been filed. There is no official cause of death confirmed by Tanzanian authorities. Autopsy and toxicology results have not been made public as of now. So what we are doing is what any reasonable person would do when faced with a confusing and painful situation. We are asking questions. Loudly. Question 1, the timing. There is a specific psychological reality about suicidal ideation and action. It does not tend to happen at the peak of a celebration. It does not tend to happen 7 days after the happiest documented moment of someone's public life. That is not to say it is impossible. Grief and pain can hide behind the most seemingly perfect moments. But for someone like Ashlee, whose entire platform was built on authentic emotional expression, there was zero indication, zero withdrawal, zero darkness in her content. Question 2, McCann's behavior afterward. Within a short time of Ashlee's death becoming public, people began to notice things. He had deleted posts on Instagram. He was still posting on X, not morning posts, just regular posts, as if life was continuing normally. His Facebook page had no mention of her. The people closest to Ashlee say he did not respond the way a man in grief responds.
You know, I always find it interesting when people are like super shocked that you would make a decision out of like the kindness of your heart or a decision out of love. It makes me think. The reason you're asking me like, are you sure, or are you not gonna go back on your decision, or is because you would do that. You're so shocked that I would do something because you wouldn't do it. And I sit on that. We give so many people, it's the word I would use, we give them the treatment we wish to receive from them. And they're so shocked when we give it to them because they would never do it for us. Shit is crazy.
They say something felt off about the way he communicated. Now again, grief looks different for everyone. Some people go numb. Some people function on autopilot. But when you place his behavior alongside the strangeness of the situation, it becomes part of a larger pattern of inconsistencies that is hard to ignore. Question 3, the financial picture. In 2025, McCann publicly announced the closure of Asymmetric's Liquid Alpha Fund after it lost approximately 78% of its value in a single year. He put out a statement. The crypto world noticed. That is not a small thing. That is a catastrophic professional loss. And here's where psychology gets interesting. When powerful people face serious financial failure, when their sense of control over their world begins to crumble, behavior can shift in ways that are hard to predict. We are not saying this means anything definitive, but it is context. Context always matters. And then there's the detail that has disturbed people perhaps most of all. Before this trip, before any of this, some of Ashlee's followers had sent her warnings. Screenshots have resurfaced showing people in her comments and DMs urging her to be careful, urging her to think twice. Some commenters online even claimed unverified. So take this carefully, that there have been warning signs about McCann specifically, that people in her circle had expressed concern that went unheeded or unknown. If that is true, if people saw something and said something and it still wasn't enough to protect her, that is not just heartbreaking. That is a kind of tragedy that demands accountability from all of us about how seriously we take these warnings when we see them. Here is where things stand right now. As of this week, Tanzanian authorities are handling the case, but they have made no public statements. The U.S. State Department has also remained silent. No charges have been filed against Joe McCann. He has not been officially arrested, though there are conflicting reports from some of Ashlee's friends claiming he may have been detained at some point. None of that has been confirmed. Ashlee's family, the Robinson and Endres families, released a joint statement, and in it, they said something that stopped everyone cold. They pleaded with Joe McCann to be truthful, not with police, not with investigators, with him directly. One moment she was celebrating love and life in truly Ashlee fashion, they wrote, and the next she was gone. Those words, be truthful. You do not say that to someone you believe is an innocent grieving partner. You say that to someone you believe knows more than they are saying. Ashlee's family is not calling for sympathy. They are calling for answers. And the difference between those two things is everything. There is something deeply painful about watching a woman's life get reduced to a mystery. Ashlee Jenae built a platform around being seen, around being celebrated, around taking up space in a world that too often tells women, especially black women, to shrink. And now the people who loved her are fighting just to have the truth of her death seen with the same clarity that her life deserved. The internet is doing what the internet does, speculating, investigating, sharing theories. Some of those theories are going places we cannot confirm and should not amplify without evidence. But the core demand, investigate this fully. Do not accept a rushed narrative. Do not let this woman's death be quietly filed away. That is not conspiracy. That is accountability. So here's where I want to leave you tonight, because this is the part of these stories that I think matters most. The part where we stop just consuming and we start thinking. When you look at this case, what do you see? Do you see a woman in a secret, private crisis that she hid from everyone around her, her friends, her followers, her family, completely and successfully, right up until the happiest week of her public life? Or do you see something else? Do you see a situation where the people closest to the truth are being asked to accept an explanation that fundamentally does not match the person they knew? And here's a harder question, the one that matters beyond the specific case. How many times have we seen stories like this before? How many times has a woman, a black woman, specifically, died in circumstances that people quietly questioned, and yet the official story was accepted, the case was filed, and the family was left with silence? What does it take for us, as a society, to treat the concerns of a victim's loved ones with the same urgency we treat the claims of the person who was last with her? Ashlee called herself a soft life divester. She was investing in herself. She was choosing joy. She deserved to live the life she was building. We owe her the truth, all of us. And if you think so, too, drop your theory in the comments below. Tell us what you believe happened. Tell us what part of this story is sitting with you. We read every single comment. And in cases like this, community discussion matters. And if you are new here, if this is the first time you've found Mystora Crimes, subscribe right now. Because we do not let stories like Ashlee's disappear into the noise. We stay. We ask questions. We come back when there are updates. This case is not over, and neither are we. Rest easy, Ashlee. We are still asking.